This is Green Beverly with special guest, the Sharing Wheel. And today we have Phil Jenkins of Polestar, Boston, and Sean Leach.
Yeah, Sean Leach, yep.
It's Green Beverly's EV coach.
Yes.
And Julia Long of Green Beverly.
That's right, Community Engagement Director.
Awesome. Phil, we'll start with you. Tell me about Polestar, and briefly about the company, and then how you end up in Beverly and find
and
Green
with Green Beverly.
Yeah.
So Polestar is an offshoot company from Volvo. We used to be strictly like rally cars. Volvo would build cars, Polestar would tune them and race them on like tracks in Europe and do road races with them. And then for years they would tune specific cars for Polestar to be sold to the general public. That would be Polestar Edition. Back in about 2015, we broke off to be our own brand that is just completely based around design, performance, and sustainability. So they're all electric high performance cars, still partnered with Volvo. But where Volvo's the historically, safe, conservative, classic brand, Polestar is like the edgy, fun, performance-based brand. So I got involved with them because I ran a Volvo store for a while, jumped over to Polestar, and just like it sounds like Green Beverly does, everything we do is, or not everything, but most of it is, grassroots marketing. So I moved to Beverly recently. Was walking down Cabot Street right behind us and saw the sign for Green Beverly hanging over the street and reached out to everybody there and just said, hey, this is who I am, this is who we are. And I'd love to work with everybody, and kind of here we are, 3-4 months later. So that's kind of how I got here, who we are and how I got here.
Yeah, I love it. I like how you just arrive in a community and jump in.
You got to, yeah. I mean, that's part of the reason is like where I used to live was very community oriented. It was a great place to live. I had never really partook in that prior to that. So now that we're in a new place, I wanted to continue it. And what's better than trying to like work collectively with people in your neighborhood to do better things, like build a more sustainable future and get more electrics on the road, but also just to make connections and know people in a new area, new neighborhood.
Yeah.
And of course, we're delighted to hear that because Green Beverly is just all about building community and strengthening community. So hearing that that's one of the things that worked to draw at least you, Phil, in. We get a lot of people actually that coming in and say, oh, I noticed a sign, or my neighbor or somebody had, the pollinator thing in their garden.
Right.
And they're like, tell me more about this. So that's their conduit to getting involved with us, which is like just super cool.
Yeah. It's very easy to reach out and get involved too. It's a good, it seems like a great organization, and like you can easily get connected to the right people and kind of get your mission started, right?
Yeah. Much appreciation for Green Bev. Having done community work too, it's difficult to get to that next level.
Yeah.
Green Bev has gone there and further, I'd say.
Absolutely. You can try and do a little like community work, and it takes a lot of effort, and then you put it on an event and 5 people show up, 10 people show up.
That's right.
It's good to partner with a group that already kind of has their like foot in the door and has this momentum, behind them already. So
yeah. And I appreciate that last year at Earth Day it rained, hey, and that must have hurt,
Yeah, it was actually a couple years ago that it rained, and it rained, and we thought we had outsmarted nature by creating a rain date. And so it rained on the day, and we're like, haha, but wait. And then it rained on the rain date, and we're like, forget it.
Right.
We're going to do something completely different, which is where EarthSpring was born.
Exactly.
Which is where this is born. So we've got a lot of events happening now.
So you didn't like fold up your tent and not do it again. You said, how do we do this?
Yeah.
What's a better way of doing it?
That's right.
So the EarthSpring, and it's over 2-month period?
Yeah, about
8
2
weeks?
months, 2
Yeah.
months, 6 to 8 weeks, depending on what
Give
we
or take.
do. So last year was the first time we've done it. This year is the second.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's starting to grow legs. It's just kind of fun. You know,
Makes
there's
total
some walks
sense.
and
Yeah.
there's workshops, and
Yeah.
we're doing something with Polestar coming up, like a tour, a sustainability tour in a Polestar. And that'll bring us actually into June a little bit probably. So we're figuring out the date on that one, but stay tuned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sean, I hear nothing but good things about you.
I'm glad to hear that.
And you're with Green Beverly, and you're the EV coach.
Yes, that is right. I am. I think I'm the only EV coach right now.
The only
though
one.
I think.
But we have, we the only one, and maybe for now, I don't
Yeah.
know, but
You're
the
the
oldest,
official EV
the oldest
Official
coach,
EV
I was going to
coach.
say, are one of our original coaches. So
Yes. Yeah.
been
One,
around a
of,
long
one of the
time.
first coaches focused on EV. You know, my longtime passion has always been technology.
Yeah.
And cars and motorcycles, and EVs were the perfect sort of blend of all of that.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I can actually have high-tech vehicles that are vehicles. So there's this wonderful marriage of state-of-the-art tech with cars and motorcycles. And I've always loved talking about it with people and helping people with it. So this is perfect.
And school buses.
Yes, my actual day job is working with Highland Electric Fleets, who is actually based in Beverly as well, which is really cool. And Beverly was technically our first signed customer, but we deploy electric school bus fleets across the entire country.
Fantastic. On a side note, that you definitely have Beverly Historic Society has, maybe it's already been done, but that is there is a history of car manufacturers in Beverly, and this would be a.
That's true. Yeah, and knowing that is probably something we should look at. 'Cause
Absolutely.
some of the work Highland has done with the city of Beverly with the electric school buses has been truly groundbreaking, and some firsts I think have happened in Beverly with the electric school buses. So definitely worth looking at.
That's a good point. And with Jimmy Carter and the solar field near the high school, that's a first as well.
Yep.
And it's still,
Right.
I think it's the only now surviving solar field of its, the oldest one in the country,
from
right?
that entire sort of tranche
From
of test
that
arrays they did
trial
all over the
period.
country. I think this is the last one that has anything left, which is really cool. And a huge credit to Fred and everybody who's working as
Hops.
part of that group, Fred Hops.
Totally, yeah.
Keeping that alive, because there's real history there and there's significant things done here in Beverly.
And you're just adding to it, Sean.
I'm
so
hoping.
thank you.
We're
Yeah.
trying.
Making us look good.
And also, and maybe you can explain to me a little bit how it would work, but the bus is giving back electricity to the grid?
Yep. So one of the big advantages of having an EV, whether it's a school bus or a regular EV, is that you charge from the electric grid. And you can actually make electricity in a ton of different ways, and many of those ways are clean and sustainable. And I would also add, currently, I think the cheapest way to make those electrons. So the clean, sustainable ways of making power are the cheapest ways, which means they have won, basically. We just
Finally,
have to
yeah.
we have to keep scaling them. But you can fill your EV on electrons generated locally. And one of the things that certain utilities in some areas are concerned about is what do you do when all the EVs want to plug in and have to charge? And thankfully, there are some nations that are actually far ahead of this, and that has proven to not be a problem because everybody plugs in at different times of day. There's things like smart charging where the utility can actually tell the vehicles when to charge and not charge to benefit the grid. But with vehicles like the school buses that we deploy and we have here in Beverly, we can utilize a technology called vehicle to grid, where the same charger that charges that vehicle day in and day out, we can send a command to it to actually pull the energy and power from the bus and push it back out to the grid.
Wow.
So historically in Beverly for the past 3 years, we have been part of National Grid's Connected Solutions program. And those buses get called on between 40 and 60 times every summer, every
Really?
night, to push all of their power
Wow,
back.
fascinating.
Goodness.
And that actually quite literally benefits the community right around where those buses are. So they're helping to keep the lights on and support the grid.
Wow, that's fantastic. And Phil, Polestar, you have some, I don't know if you call it a rebate or incentive to
Yeah.
purchase a Polestar vehicle And if you're a member of Green Beverly, it's even better.
Yes. So we have, I mean, there's always rebates that the manufacturer is running as well. But then what I did at our store was a Beverly specific rebate, kind of as a initiative to kind of like grow our partnership and obviously grow the brand and, you know, get more cars that I see while I'm, you know, driving down the street in the morning. So that would be if you live and are going to be registering your new car in Beverly and you live here, it would be a $500 rebate. But if you are then a Green Beverly member, it goes up to $1,000. So it's pretty significant savings on a car. We are, you know, we're a luxury car. It's definitely more expensive than what I've typically driven in my personal life. So, you know, this hopefully helps, you know, kind of bridge that gap for a lot of people. And again, the goal is always to get as many people behind the wheel as possible. So it's a small commitment on our end that hopefully goes a long way.
Yeah, yeah.
And did you say there are 3 people already who've taken advantage of that so far? And it's just
2 people so far that have
new thing.
the cars in their driveways, and then we have another 2 or 3 that are working on it right now that will be in the next few months. But this has only really been live for a month or so, 2 months, and we have started getting a lot of traction over the last few weeks. Even just I've noticed like going out places here, you know, getting a coffee on the weekend, and people see the car and ask me about it. So we're starting to get a lot more people that are catching on.
Thanks for those who are taking advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
Awesome.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we talk about Tesla for a second?
Sure.
Because you were talking about the incentives and things like that. And I know that one of the questions that we've been getting is like, if you have one and you're ready for it to be turned in or changed up, there sometimes are incentives to that. Is there one?
So you're actually doing my job for me. I probably should have mentioned that because we do have, the manufacturer is also running a program right now where if you're buying a pre-owned Polestar 2, which is our 4-door sedan, like your everyday run-around car, you get a $1,000 rebate on a certified pre-owned car if you currently own a Tesla. It's own, lease, whatever, as long as it's in your name. And then on the new cars, you get $5,000. So if you currently own, lease a Tesla, any model, and you're looking at one of our brand new cars, which right now would be the Polestar 3, which is an SUV, you get, $5,000 off there. It's been huge for us. There are obviously a lot of Teslas on the road. They've been, in some ways, they've been a pioneer in the industry in a lot of ways, right? They've been out for much longer than pretty much every other electric car brand. So there's a lot of them on the road, and a lot of people, are, you know, have been waiting for another option to get out of theirs, but now it's been a lot of turmoil, I guess you could say. So people are now thinking that they want to push that forward, and that $5,000 that we have hopefully tries to offset some of that cost for customers, and again, make it easier, you know, to jump into a new brand.
And as someone who actually just traded a Tesla for another car, there are lots of good incentives out there now, so shop around. And I would definitely say, and this is not just because you're sitting next to me, but Polestar has incredibly aggressive incentives right now. So if that vehicle works for your price point, definitely check it out.
Hot tip
I say
tip
that
from
as
the
someone,
couch.
I've driven the Polestar. It's great. So if that works for you, please talk to Phil and let's do it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of great incentives out there right now. If someone has a Tesla and they're looking to go to a different EV brand, just shop around.
Yeah, cool. And I'll say, as a person who I just bought my first EV as well, thanks to Sean for holding my hand through that.
No problem.
I did not get a Polestar, but I did get a Chevy Bolt, a used Chevy Bolt, and it was reasonable, I think, and we really like it. So there are a lot of used vehicles out there that may or may not, you know, that might fit your budget.
That's a market that a lot of people aren't even aware of, is the pre-owned electrics. I think Tesla came out with, you know, their selling model is completely online, and it's a little bit different where there's not dealerships. And I think in my experience, a lot of customers didn't, or at least weren't aware that you still had the option of buying something pre-owned 3-4 years old. I can say personally from my store and from some of the other brands that I work tightly with, it's definitely an emerging market, and you find a lot of very good deals there because, you know, one of the benefits of, like yourself, kind of jumping into this electric pre-owned market is, since there aren't a ton of people aware of that, right? Cost and, you know, demand and always has to do with price. So if there's not a ton of demand because people are still picking up on it, there are a lot of affordable vehicles to have there as well.
Now, if someone wanted to go to the showroom and check out a Polestar.
Yes.
Where in Boston are you?
We're located in Brighton over, if you're familiar with Brighton or Boston at all, we're right near the New Balance campus headquarters.
Okay.
Boston Landing, kind of. I always tell customers we're like right in the middle. If you put on a map, where Harvard, BC, and BU are, we're right in the middle, right up off the Mass Pike. So we have a showroom there. We do a lot of local events as well, like the thing we're doing up here.
Yeah.
Throughout the summer, if you follow us on social media, just Polestar Boston, you'll see that there are going to be 5 or 6 different test drive events all around New England between now and the fall, and then we always keep those rolling. So there are a lot of opportunities to come and see them all over.
And there's one being planned for
It
the
was
Cummings Center.
originally it was going to be in May, but we're going to need to readjust that. So it'll probably be in June, but stay tuned for that. And it will include a sustainability tour of Beverly in a Polestar, or optional in a Polestar. We probably could do it however you want. If you want to be on a bike, that's fine too, but it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, also worth noting, if anybody wants to try EVs, keep your eyes out on the National Drive Electric Week event calendar. It's a national organization that organizes events all across the U.S. But I'm fairly certain there's going to be our partners in Salem are going to have some stuff coming up soon, so people can go visit those to check out EVs. And there's usually ones sort of this time of year and then later in the year as well. So check out that calendar if you want to see local EVs.
That's usually great. A lot of brands join in that too. That's been a for stores and for consumers. That's been a good week of like learning, education, just good to get out there for everybody.
That's great.
And
we'll make sure we
Polestar's
put
been
that.
a good contributor to that. To
Polestar's
their
been
credit.
great. I just want to make sure Green Beverly /events, greenbeverly.org/events. We'll make sure we have that tidied up.
I'll post it.
I'll find out more about that. What's happening in Salem? I didn't realize there was one in the spring.
Yeah, there's usually the Earth Month, Earth Day events, and then there's the fall calendar usually.
Okay. So stay tuned.
And Sean, if someone needed coaching, how would they get in touch with you?
Well, they would go to the Green Beverly website. That's usually the best place to start with all of this stuff, whether it's EV coaching or solar or any of the other myriad things that Green Beverly has coaches for. Go to the website, and there's, I believe, a very direct coaching link right there on the homepage. And, submit right through there. Usually that turns into an email to me within a moment or two, and then I'm usually talking with that person the same week. I think our record right now was Laura reached out, and I talked to her the day or two after she reached out, and then she bought an EV later that weekend. Like, it was the fastest new inquiry to official EV owner, which was really, really cool to see. But Green Beverly's got a great coaching website for anything inside of the green world that you would have questions about.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I'll put a plug in too. Sean is a special coach because we have special EV hours, office hours, just with Sean. So once a month, I believe, ish. And it's usually on a Thursday or Friday morning, around 8 or 9 in the morning. And if you'll always be able to find that on our events calendar. They're usually planned about a month in advance or so. So keep an eye out. You can always check in with us anytime, but it's sometimes nice to be in a forum where if you're just wanting to know what other people are asking, that can be helpful too.
And there are no dumb questions, so please come ask all questions. That's the reason we exist, is just come talk to us.
Yeah.
I cannot reiterate that enough. There truly are no dumb questions in this market. I have had people come to me and ask questions that they are like almost embarrassed to ask, and they are like extremely meaningful, and it teaches the new drivers so much to just like ask basic things, because then you can tie A, B, and C together and really put a full picture together of what it's like to own an EV and drive an EV.
I'll double reiterate that and expand it to, that's what Green Beverly wants, is people to ask questions, and we will meet you where you are no matter what. And the more dumb you think your question is, the better it is. Just go for it, because that can be in the way of doing some really cool stuff, and nobody's gonna judge you for asking a question that.
Can I ask you a dumb question?
Yeah, let's go.
Can you put meat in compost?
Can you put meat in compost?
Yeah.
Well, if you have black earth compost, you can.
Okay.
So our city uses black earth for a curbside compost pickup situation, and so they will collect meat, bones, cheese, all the stuff that,
Okay.
you've heard maybe that isn't good for composting. If it's in your backyard, you probably want to double think that because that may
animals.
attract the wrong,
yeah,
So
yeah,
that may be,
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
contact your compost provider to ask them that question if it's
Yeah.
not black earth.
yeah.
Yeah. So anything else Phil, you'd like to share about Polestar or?
I mean, there's a lot. I could go all day about Polestar as a brand. I will definitely say, I've been in the car industry now. I'm 35. I've been in since I was 23. So
Wow.
pretty much my entire professional life. And I've driven everything from 30-year-old cars that only go into reverse to, Ferraris and very, very high-end things, not as in my own driveway, unfortunately, but, and I could say Polestar, I know I work there and everything. They make one of the best cars that you can find on the road. The design of this car, as I mentioned, if you go on our website, you'll see design, performance, sustainability everywhere. And the cool thing about that is those three tie in together so well. They can stand together on their own too, where, everybody loves a car that's designed, immaculately. You want one that's sustainable in 2025, especially if you're looking at an EV. And who doesn't like performance, right? But if you tie those together, if you design a car around being sustainable and performance, like what is more performance than doing it efficiently? And, what's better about performance than if it's designed well, where if you look at my car, it's got a spoiler on the front of the car where you never see that. It's not noticeable. It's not something that's big and flashy and in your face, but that's a part of the design that increases the aerodynamics of the car, so it makes it a little bit more efficient, makes it a little bit more sustainable. Obviously, performs better. Truly, what they put out as their goal for their brand has been accomplished in the design factor and just like the quality of the vehicle it's put out there. And I can definitely say that is something that, as much as I like to plug my own brand, is not unique to Polestar in many ways. I think we've done a fantastic, if not better than anybody else, job in doing that. But if you do, especially if you talk to Sean, he could probably tell you the same thing. There are a lot of innovations that have been made in that industry in the last 5-10 years that have been incredible for electric cars. Just ease of driving, ease of use, and cost savings as well. It's an interesting time, very good time to be involved.
I could see you parked out in front of Kid Dream's coffee shop with a Polestar in the morning.
I have.
Oh, you have?
I have, yeah.
Answering questions.
There is one thing I will say about this brand is I ran the sales department of a Volvo store for a long time. And great cars, but you go anywhere in the street and everyone's seen a Volvo, nobody says a word to you. There was a period of time where my wife and I would be out just going to get coffee, going to get groceries, whatever, where I almost couldn't take the car out because people would stop me on the street and ask what it was. I've been walking off the beach, sunburnt, walking to my car and get stopped by customers asking me what is this, how much does it cost, etc.
Wow.
It's definitely something that if you're driving it, you're going to get questions about.
Right. Go out for a gallon of milk and you come back the next day.
Yeah, go out for a gallon of milk and you come back selling 3 cars. And I always joke that in the old city I lived in Boston, the Whole Foods parking lot was my number one sales place.
Yeah.
Sold 3 cars in 1 month in the parking lot there just because people had seen my car and been like, wow, what is this?
Yeah.
And it's unique. Sometimes, you like to have things that are a little bit different. And to kind of piggyback on one of the things Sean said earlier is, if you see him out, you can ask him questions about the car. If you ever see me with mine, feel free to stop and ask me. It's usually me, my wife, and my big black dog. So don't be afraid to say hello and ask about the car or ask about electrics in general or Green Beverly.
Awesome.
I'll try my best to answer for Green Beverly, hopefully correctly.
You know where to find us.
Yeah, exactly. I'll push them the right way.
It's great that you, was it a banner, a Green Beverly banner, or was it a?
Yeah, it was just a banner hanging over Cabot Street. And I was, it was December or January this year. I was standing out front and I just looked up, happened to see it at the right time, and it clicked. And again, it was very easy to get connected directly to Dean. And, the rest is hopefully, history, right?
Yeah.
I think we were advertising our rebate program for EV charger installations.
That was exactly it. And as a new resident, that was one of the things I was looking at with my house is, how do I get a charger here without without missing out on rebates? The last thing you want to do is buy one, pay to have it installed, and then you
Yeah.
see a banner a month later and realize you just cost yourself some money because you didn't take advantage of all the programs that Beverly and Green Beverly put out for us, which
That's great.
are, compared to other municipalities, are huge in New England. So
Yeah.
it's a good place to be.
That rebate is just renewed as well, so we have
Oh,
another
wow.
year on that.
Oh, fantastic.
FYI. Yeah.
Sean, do you walk people through the I know this, like state rebates and federal rebates?
Yep.
And so that's part of your coaching.
Yes, absolutely. The thing I actually probably spend the most time on is just talking through what they want out of a vehicle. You know, what are their needs? How do they drive? How far do they drive? Do they have a driveway? You know, just these sort of core things about how they use cars. But yeah, unquestionably, we spend, you know, at least a few minutes talking through what's available in terms of rebates, because there's still extremely great state rebates with the More EV program. There is actually still some federal programs that are open and may or may not get renewed. We'll see. But there are still tax incentives there. There's the Green Beverly rebates. There's also some other programs that I think people are not necessarily aware of, where you can actually add in things like EV charging and solar and home batteries, and there are finance programs around those as well. So just trying to show people all of the places that they can look for additional funds and assistance with all this.
And there's even more rebates for like a Uber driver or?
Yes, I am less versed on those rebates, but I know the More EV site in particular, that's mor-ev.org. They spell out those in detail. So if you do ride share, you can also get some other additional incentives.
Great. And yeah, I'm kind of coming towards the end here. Anything else, John or Phil, you'd like to share?
I'll just say it again, just ask the dumb questions, because they're really not dumb. And especially with Green Beverly, we can help everybody with a lot of different things. It's not just EVs, you know, it's solar, it's insulation, it's all these important things to do locally. This is where change happens, is in your community, and Beverly is really active and has a lot of great people part of it. And this Green Beverly resource is really huge for everybody in the town, because hopefully it spreads outside of town. You know, we help everybody, we help our neighbors here, and then hopefully they go and help others.
Yeah. No, it's a good, almost like a franchising in a way, or a good model, right? Other communities could.
Yeah, we'd love to
duplicate
help
what you're doing.
folks scale it to their space.
Yep.
Get connected, right?
Yep.
That's the big thing. I just from listening to Sean, that's a big part of what you guys do, what we do. It's like everything is so connected now, especially with a sustainable outlook on the world, right? Few things are, like he mentioned, you have the bidirectional charging where you can go from vehicle to grid. If that's not more connected than we used to be, I don't really know what is, right? So the more that people adopt those things, there's a lot of brands that are doing exactly what Sean mentioned, Polestar included. So like there are ways to get connected, and that's get connected to Green Beverly, get your solar panels, get your smart chargers that connect to the grid, do your bidirectional charging. There's a lot of different ways to take advantage of what we have out there and truly like advance yourself to 2025 and what we can do to kind of keep this going.
Yeah, and I would add, again, to expand it, but come with your questions about EVs and charging and solar, and also about gardening, and also about childcare and owning a pet, and all the rain harvesting, stuff like that.
Right.
Like we're here, right? Yeah. Challenge us. Ask the dumb questions. They're not dumb. Ask them, and make it so that we have to work to help you answer it. Like that's what we really, really want. So, and then the other thing that we've realized is that people really like the ways in which we can just be together and hang out. So we have our meetups once a month, every third Thursday at Bean Trust from 1 to 3, where we just get a coffee together and chill. And then we have the first Monday, is it Monday or Tuesday? First Tuesday, I think. Double check that.
Backbeat.
At Backbeat. Yeah. And that's where we just hang out and work away from home together. And it's where good ideas kind of flourish. They happen, they grow, they community comes together, and that's what we're realizing is like just as important as learning how to compost and installing an EV charger and stuff like that. So keep showing up.
Awesome. Well, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
Absolutely.
And Julia. And this is Green Beverly, and with special guest Sharing Whale. And thanks very much. Cheers.
Thanks for watching our podcast. If you liked what you saw today, please feel free to go to greenbeverly.org/events to learn more about what's coming up for EarthSpring and other events. Or
if you'd like to support Green Beverly, check out our monthly newsletter. Subscribe to our monthly newsletter on greenbeverly.org. Volunteer or support us as a sustaining member, also available on greenbeverly.org. Thank you for watching.